What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, and you tune in to another edition of my vlog. Want to say thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for sharing the channel. I appreciate all the comments. You know, I'm all about that positivity and that motivation, and keeping you laced up. And I want to share a conversation I had with a gentleman one time in a private jet. I had a partner that worked for somebody who ran a jet charter business, and on occasions I would go and hang out with him, chop it up, trying to get laced up on some game. And you know, I happened to pull up one time, Santa Monica Airport, and dude had a turboprop, and he's like, you know, I'm working with a new pilot, and they wanted to, you know, get him a little flight time. So it's like, hey man, how would you like to take a quick trip? I'm like, damn, I ain't brought no clothes or nothing. He's like, nah, I ain't that kind of trip. We just gonna fly like, you know, 40 minutes out to another little private airport, you know, park and, you know, do a little turnaround and come back. I'm like, shit, I'm down. You know, it's afternoon time. I'm chilling and shit. You know, I ain't got nothing going on. So I'm like, I roll with him. And you know, and I'm sitting there in the jet, man, and you know, you go right up on the tarmac, walk into the jet, and it's just like, you know, it's on some other level shit. And we fly and shit. It's the three of us in the back and two pilots, and you know, we chopping it up. Well, actually, they're lacing me up on the game as far as life, and the guy who owned the jet charter business is telling me about becoming educated in your hustle. And, you know, what he meant by that is, whatever your hustle is, make sure you know the ins and outs of that hustle so that you can maximize your time for whatever you're involved in while doing that hustle. So in other words, he was saying, if you're going to be in construction, you know about you know, contracting work, you know, about laying down a foundation, about wiring, you know, about, you know, plumbing, you know, you don't have to be a master, but know enough to where if you hire somebody, you're not going to get beat. He said, if you're going to be a mechanic, man, know something about the cars, you know, at least enough that if somebody were to try to blow smoke up your ass, you'd be able to call bluff, you know, and that way you don't get beat. And just be well-rounded, so that way you can always get what you should be getting out of what you're applying yourself for. And he started off, you know, this guy was an ex-Vietnam vet. He flew helicopters in Nam, and when he got back, he got into aviation and, you know, became a pilot and worked for some private charter, you know, companies, and then eventually started his own private charter company. And he used to fly a lot of celebrities to different events and places and stuff like that. And you know, he was really big in the LA area, you know, and based out of Santa Monica Airport. And you know, he was just you know, about his business. And I was still kind of wet behind the ears when I was getting this game. I wasn't really fully tuned to what he was talking about. I was still doing you know, porno movies. I was still in the streets. I was still you know, just grinding and busting heads and doing stuff, man, that I wasn't really focused. So the game that he was spitting, I caught glimpses of it, but I missed the meat and potatoes because I wasn't I wasn't ready. And so a lot of the stuff I had to reflect later on when I was at the pen about those conversations to realize that, oh, this is what he was talking about. But dude, he was laced up, man. He was getting paper, and he was making moves with his charter company, you know, with his jet charter business. I went to the pen shortly after I met him, so I didn't really get the full education like I should have. But, you know, he always just talked about, you know, a degree is relative to what you're going to school for if you already have an opportunity waiting for you when you get out. But if you want to really get paid and not go into debt, he said, learn a trade, whether it's diesel mechanic, airplane mechanic, you know, what do you call it? Just a regular auto mechanic. He said, you know, things like that are always going to be in need. And if you are good at what you do, welding, fabrication, you will have a job and you will be able to make money. And eventually you can run your own business if that's what your ambition is. And, my whole thing has always been working for myself. So when he was talking, I was listening, and I always took that to heart. So even though I wasn't applying what I learned from him right then, I applied it later on, and always have, worked for myself. I've always had my own little thing going on, whether it's personal training, whether it's buying and selling cars, whether it's having my own clothing line, whatever it is, I've always, focused on being my own boss. But that was one of the things that he said that I really tried to soak up and put it in perspective later on in life. And a lot of these things, if I would have been able to put them into play right then, I would be balling out of control right now. And he also used to always tell me to put yourself, even if you feel uncomfortable, around people and at places where you're likely to find those you think that are going to be able to give you some game. So, presenting yourself will allow doors to open up, opportunities to, be laid down. But if you're not out there, if you're not looking for these things, they're not going to fall in your lap, playing a video game or pop out Facebook for a friend request. You got to go out there and meet these people. He said, life is all about personality. People, having some type of relationship with you. Most deals are made on friendships. How smart you are, how many degrees you have. Yeah, that's good for conversation. But as far as what's going to really take you to that next level, he said, is a friendship. It's a relationship that's built off of trust, off of mutual interest, off of goals. That's what's going to take you to that next level. And so I have very few friends. Maybe, one or two people I grew up with since, middle school, and my wife. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of friends, man. I have people that I hang out with, but the ambition is different. The goals are different. So I can't really say that we're on the same page. You got certain people that, if shit hit the fan, you can count on them. And other people, they wouldn't even answer your phone call. And so I try to always put that into perspective and know who I have around me at all times and what I can count on them for. So I don't get mad when I expect them to do more than what they would do, because what certain people are capable of. But back to the conversation on the private jet, it was just an overwhelming high to be, around big bread, and to know that the potential to get that is there. And this is before, this is back in the late 90s, before a lot of cats you see now in these music videos even, were, had that stuff in their videos. This is like back when, people who was riding in those jets really had that paper. And so, like I said, it was a conversation I can still reflect back on. And I just didn't pick up all the PowerPoints, but I can go back and reflect on those PowerPoints with you and tell you that, hey man, get your hustle down to a science. Learn all you can about your hustle and set goals for yourself so that you're not just wandering aimlessly about your daily task and not getting to your next level. Life to me is all about climbing up that ladder. A lot of people, they say, oh, you sound like you're all about money, you're not happy. Well, dude, who said I'm not happy? I'm more than happy. I'm enjoying life. I'm out here. I'm free. I'm getting paper. But at the same time, it's all about moving forward, getting around people who we all have the same interests. We can help each other. We can grow. We can build together. I don't want to be one of those people, 5 more years till I retire. I don't give a damn about retirement. Ain't never no retirement in my book, man. I'm going to constantly be doing something, trying to get it, trying to make it happen. And you don't, when you lay down, when you're in the coffin, that's when you throw in a towel. But as long as you walk around breathing, you can move around and you got your health, man. Go get that paper, go get it. Partner, he used to get it. He ended up losing his business because he did some shady shit and got caught up in shit, and they seized all his stuff while I was locked up. Apparently, I read an article, but I don't want to get into details about it. But yeah, he got his wig split up in the up in that Santa Monica airport trying to do some shady shit. But I do remember the conversations I had, and I used to hang out at that airport quite a bit and just be chilling with him, trying to pick up little game and seeing how I could take what I was doing to the next level, which was at the time the adult entertainment industry. The best thing back then, before the internet got big, would have been to start my own company, have my own website, be doing my own content and stuff like that. But that's kind of like the path I was on. But I never got to that level because I was doing too much other grimy shit, shit that had me in the streets, So I was 1 foot in the street, 1 foot in the boardroom, and you can't do it like that. You got to have 2 feet in the boardroom, and you could look back to the streets, but you can't still be touching the streets and thinking that hey, you're gonna have total immunity to what happens from your actions and what you do over there. So be laced up, man, and make sure, like I said, you do your homework, build your foundation. And whatever it is, if you're going to do stocks, if you're going to do real estate, if you're going to do auto mechanics, learn it from the best. Get as much information as you can from somebody who's been there, who's had that success. A book only teaches you so much. Life experiences is what makes people who they are. It's what's built character. It's what allows you to, to go through something and come out, a winner. It's not the circumstance. That's how you come out of that circumstance that makes you a better person. So, people have shortcomings, but what did they do? What did they do after that? Did they bounce back? Did they get their act together? Are they a better person now? That's what the conversation needs to be about. I mean, we all make mistakes, and I don't try to preach or tell people what they should or shouldn't be doing. I just try to share things that I've experienced. I've always been somebody who's wanted more in life. The hood that never was my max. I never felt that this is all I wanted out of life, because I didn't see anybody in my neighborhood riding around in Lamborghinis or flying helicopters or having yachts or doing big oil deals or commodity deals or anything like that. So I used to read this stuff in magazines and books and want to go and explore it, and a lot of times I went and just tried different things and bumped my head. So I'm trying to help you guys so you don't bump your head and you can get the game and tighten it up. And if you are doing something right now and you feel it's a waste of time, you can kind of assess that and say, hey man, the conversation with the private jet guy, he said get all I can out of this. And so if you are employed by somebody and you're looking to start your own thing, build your database up, and if you're a good worker and you got the skill set, you can go and start your own and make all the money and bring people around you who can help build you to that next level. And just like do a spinoff. Why not? If you're running somebody's company, it's no different if it's your company, and then you hire people around you who are smarter than you to do the task you don't want to do or you can't do. And that's what it's about. This guy ran the company, the jet charter business, but to a degree, he was kind of like a kid. I remember walking in his office. This dude had a pellet gun, and he was shooting it at the wall, putting the holes in the wall, laughing. He said, always talking about calling up hookers and stuff, man. And I was in the porn industry, so, he's always asking me to plug him up with some girls in the business. And, dude used to toot a little bit. He was a wild man, all over the place, but he was getting paper. Every time that jet engine turned on, that was like 5 racks worth of gas burning up right then. Every time they did a charter, I think the minimum back then in the late 90s they were chartering for was like, I think 16 racks for something real close. But it went up from there. Going across, going to a couple cities over, it might be 20-something thousand. Cross country 30-something thousand, and it was big money. And this guy was getting it, man. But I used to wonder, like, man, how does he maintain this? But he had people around him who were sharp. They knew the game. They knew how to run his business, and he had built it up to a point where now it kind of ran itself. But at the end of the day, he played himself because he did some shit he shouldn't have been doing, and he lost his business. But I still remember, like I said, the conversations when I used to pop in there, and he used to be like, "Oh, Big Herc, what's up, man? And what you got going on? And blah blah blah. And if you ever want to drive for me, or come through, and if you need something, holler at me." And I didn't really know what to holler at him about because I wasn't the Big Herc I am now. But I know that looking back, there was some game to be had, and if I could take that game and share it with you guys, that's what I'm gonna do. So the conversation with the homie with the private jet, stay laced up, and hopefully you guys can take something from this video, apply it to your own life. Whatever it is you're doing, you can tighten it up and get that paper, man. Because like I said, this channel, if you're not about the paper, then you ain't need to leave a comment. If you're mad because you ain't got no paper, then you don't need to leave a comment. Just go to another channel where you can be broke and happy. This channel is all about those of us who want to succeed, be positive, and stay laced up. Big Herc 916.